Welcome back to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about John McWhorter's book, Woke Racism. And we've been doing like a breakdown of this publication. And it does like this deep dive into wokeism. Obviously, from his perspective and the way he looks at it, it's very much focused from a racial angle. By and large, it is very much a criticism of African American political views. Obviously, he's African American. But you can see the evolution of many core woke concepts that come again from the African American community and sort of like invade a certain part of the left, becoming very detrimental for any type of political debate, like within the left itself, and also adding like fuel to the fire for a bunch of numbnuts on the right too. And in general, like the book, it's really interesting, but we get to this moment where the writer gets into CRT, and that's when all my alarm bells go off. And this feels like a wink and a nod to right wing readers. This was like a big talking point a couple years ago. You would see all these right wing pundits just losing their shit over CRT and not really understanding it in the first place. And I also have to mention, like, CRT is very much a thing of American politics. So, like, people outside of the States wouldn't really understand it. Now, don't you miss the days when people were bitching about this and SJWs and all that compared to all the crazy shit that's happening nowadays with absolutely everything revolving around Trump's policies, being it domestic and international, and how the right, I feel, has lost all moral higher ground on virtually every single issue. It's just insane. But let's get back to this book. So CRT, critical race theory, is very much like a academic issue. I think it found its genesis in law studies. Like, I'm no expert in this particular subject, but like I remember right-wing pundits talking about how this was being taught at kids' schools and stuff like that. And I looked it up and I realized it was total bullshit in 2 seconds flat. I can understand how some of its core concepts might bleed into other fields of expertise and into the normal political conscience of people on the left. Yeah, I totally understand that, but it wasn't like a systematic thing to teach it at schools. It just didn't exist. Like maybe one or two school professors might have some ideas and they would share it with their students, but it wasn't like in the curriculums to my knowledge. And even very briefly, the writer himself acknowledges this, but then he still goes on and on and on about CRT, just doesn't let it go. And so, like, again, he's talking about the African American community and the left. And then at moments he talks about brown people. And I'm not sure if he's just talking about African Americans or like he's opening up the sphere of the people he's referencing and he's throwing in there other brown people, like people of Hispanic descent, like from Mexico and Nicaragua, and Guatemala, maybe people from Southeast Asia. I'm not sure. There are many different types and shades of brown people in the world. Now, that aside, like I felt like really let down when we got into this chapter of this book because again, I thought it was really interesting in general. And all of a sudden we have this whole situation where I feel like the writer's pandering to the right and it doesn't sit well for me. Like it would have been more interesting if he would have been critical of CRT but been honest about it. So we're gonna leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.